Alright, one Sparta123. This is my Xd9 service. This is going to be a quick video going over the Powder River Precision Ultimate Easy Fit Trigger Kit for the Xd9, and I've got about 500 rounds through it now, so I feel like I could give it a decent review. For those of you who are debating on getting this, go ahead and go get it. I don't think you really need to shell out any extra dollars for the higher dollar kit, the match grade, ultimate match grade trigger or whatever. And I'll show you what I did differently, but installation, I mean, is pretty simple. There's a couple videos out there. The hardest part was really figuring out how the trigger linkage bar that goes from the trigger back to the sear and everything back here, how that interacts with the striker safety. After you figure that out, I mean, it's a breeze. I'm going to go ahead, well, before I go ahead and disassemble this, it's a dramatic improvement over stock. There's almost no take-up, and those of you who shot an XD before know that there's a tremendous amount of take-up to begin with. Now there's almost no take-up, and it's a very crisp break, and there's almost no over travel, and a very short reset. The kit is advertised, I believe, to pull at about 3.5 to 4.5 pounds, I believe it is. I had this measured at the shop where I got my night sights put on, my Trigicon HD night sights. And I believe he said it broke right at around 5 or 5.5 pounds. So it's a little bit higher than what, it's advertised, but I mean, still, it's awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and I'll be back with you, and the gun will be disassembled. Alright, through the wonders of technology, we are back and the gun is disassembled. Really, all I did differently, aside from, installing the kit, is I took about 30 minutes of my time, a Dremel polishing wheel, and some polish, and I polished the striker, the surface that actually comes in contact with the sear. Focus, camera focus, there you go. You can see it's all polished up there. And I polished my sear surface as well. You can't really tell, but I polished the sear surface as well. And I polished the trigger bar right here. This actually rides up with the slide in this little groove right here. And the factory bar is painted, and as you shoot your gun will start wearing off some of that paint, and it'll start creating a gritty trigger pull until you wear off the rest of the paint. So I went ahead and accelerated that process and just polished this surface right here. That's all you really need to do. And aside from that, the only other thing I polished was the side of the ejector and the side of the striker safety. Other than that, that's all I polished, really. And like I said, the hardest part was figuring out how the trigger bar interacts with the striker safety and the sear. After you figure that out, you're golden. And then then there's just fitting the actual trigger over travel stop, which is right there. And I did that with some files I picked up at Harbor Freight for like $10. So ultimately, guys, if you guys are debating it and thinking about pulling the trigger on it, no pun intended, go ahead and do it, guys. I mean, it's really, really worth it. And I'll tell you, the sooner you do it, the better, because I had to get used to shooting this gun again because I'm used to the factory trigger. And it's so much easier to crank them off faster, to make faster and more accurate shots, and it's so much easier, and it's so much nicer. I found that the more you shoot, the more you can come to appreciate a good trigger when you come across one, and I definitely like the way this one is. So, yeah, this is Sparta123, and signing out.